just going to be there. Yeah. I'll be there. So you will like. Do you know when like when we go in Right, I think that means that Sam's ready. So I'm going to go and sit down and be quiet and let him do the very, very good job of introducing himself, and he can tell you what he's going to do this afternoon.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam and I am here today to share with you my journey to getting my voice heard. By getting my voice heard, I mean my views, opinions and lived experiences, but also my actual physical voice. I have been a disability advocate for years now and last year started my own business, Dream Big Live Bigger, as a disability rights activist. As you can see, I use a communication aid. I simply call it my talker, but I use my speaking voice in most situations. So why do I have to use a communication aid at all? I believe that my speaking voice is okay and my friends and family can understand me. However, I wanted to be able to do so much more with my voice that I wasn't able to do with my natural speaking voice. I would like to share with you my journey of how I developed my voice to where I am today. Before I start, please make sure you have scanned the Mentimeter code on the screen. I will be doing a Q&A at the end, so please send in questions as we go along. Feel free to ask me anything at all. You are the speech and language therapists of the future, and it is vital that you understand what it is like living with a speech and language difficulty and the disabilities that often go alongside it. So, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? One of the limitations of my talker is that it is very slow for me to respond spontaneously. I pre-program everything for presentations and speeches, so I use my speaking voice to respond to things that are unplanned. If I could have one superpower, it would be to be able to say exactly what I want to say when I want to say it. So, let's start from the very beginning. I had a really bad start in life. I had a long cardiac arrest when I was 17 days old, which is why I have cerebral palsy and all of the difficulties and medical issues. The doctors told my mum and dad that, if I survived, I would be very disabled and probably would never talk or really be able to do anything at all. Luckily, I surprised everyone. I was determined to communicate and I learned to speak, although it took me quite a long time. I used communication aids to help when I was little. I had a book my mum made with symbols for me to point to. She would spend hours each week adding pages about things I was interested in or things I was learning about in nursery. I also tried using technology, but overall, speaking became my preferred way to communicate. Although I have a great physical disability, I try to be as positive as possible and am not defined by it. I want people to see my abilities, not my disabilities. I have lots of ambition and determination. I also have lots of support from my family, which means a lot. I have always loved football and I have been a coach since I was 9. I really know my stuff and I am really good at it. My dream for the future is to become a professional coach. I'm now at Newcastle College studying sports coaching, which I absolutely love. My communication is definitely a barrier, but I am working on how to overcome this. So, how did I get this far? I have two main passions in life. As I have said, the first is football and the second is advocating for young people, especially those with special educational needs and disabilities, SEND. I joined the SEND Youth Voice group for Sunderland, STARS, 4 years ago. STARS are a group of young people aged 12 to 25 who promote SEND Voice, help shape services, advocate for inclusion and accessibility, and provide opportunities for socialising and participation. Being part of STARS really changed my life as I felt my voice was being heard properly for the first time. Being a disabled young person, like me, can be really challenging. I have a lot of medical appointments and it feels as though I am always fighting to get the things I need. I achieved a lot with STARS and felt as though I had a voice to make a difference to my own and other people's lives.
conditions, such as cerebral palsy, autism, life-limiting conditions and hidden disabilities.
But we don't let that stop us or hold us back.
We have a voice and we use it to affect change in our community for others like us.
I am me, I study media studies. I am unique, powerful and totally awesome. I am able to do anything, I am powerful, so I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it.
I coach and referee football.
I sing and keep learning.
I fly through the art gymnastics.
We are all accepted as we are.
In February 2022, I joined Sunderland Youth Council. It was really difficult to make my voice heard at first. I am the only young person in the group with a communication difficulty. The group were very lively and talk an awful lot. I had a bit of a turning point when I took part in the State of the City debate at the City Hall in Sunderland a few years ago. I was on the stage and listening to other young people make speeches. I thought to myself, I want to do that. I decided to set myself a goal. I wanted to be up there making a speech at the next debate in 2024, which I did. In 2021, I had an amazing experience. I won the Sunderland Young Achievers Award for personal achievement for all of my hard work at school, my commitment to my youth groups and for my attitude and determination. I also won the overall competition too, out of hundreds of nominations. I want to show you my nomination video, which I made before I started using my tech voice. I think you will agree that I can express myself a lot better now. I can't believe this was only 4 years ago. I look so young and my voice has changed so much.
Hello, my
After this huge success, I started to investigate ways that I could begin using my tech voice in my groups. I already had the Predictable app, which I had used a little bit, so we started with that. After talking with some of the practitioners we work with about what we were trying to do, they were really keen to help. We soon had a team including our occupational therapist, speech therapist, assistive technology team and my youth group leaders. Our goal was to look at AAC in a new way. I have achieved so much without AAC, but I wanted people like me to be able to dream bigger. My speech limits me in some ways, and I have so much to say. Why shouldn't I do presentations, speeches, workshops and make videos? Why shouldn't I want to communicate better? I called this mission Project Voice. Because I had good enough speech for basic communication, I had never been referred for a specialist device. We decided to use everyday technology that I was already used to help. This time last year, I used my laptop or iPad for presentations, and my voice was a generic voice. It worked great, though, and enabled me to achieve more than I had ever dreamed of with my voice. I really hope that Project Voice can help other young people like me by showing them that you can use different ways to communicate for different situations. This photo shows me using my tech voice for the very first time. It was a very big moment for me. After the success of winning Sunderland Young Achievers, I was invited back the following year to make a speech. This was something I was unable to do the previous year, as I had the ambition but not the voice to be able to do this. Thanks to Project Voice, this was me only 1 year later, and I have never looked back since.
Listen very closely, this is high-tech technology. Over to you, Sam.
Hello, my name is Sam. Last year, I was a winner in the Personal Achievement category, which made me feel amazing. I then went on to win the overall Andy Deal Award, which was a huge surprise. Firstly, I want to explain why I chose to use my technology to talk to you tonight. Even though I can talk, it can be difficult for me sometimes, and also sometimes difficult for people to understand. I think it is really important for people to be able to communicate what they want to say and not be held back. I can now choose to use my iPhone to help me talk in any situation. The other day, I ordered for myself in Costa for the first time. Woohoo! This is my first time using my technology in front of a lot of people. My man will definitely be feeling this. I want to tell you what it means to me to have one. Since last year, everything was done online, and I didn't get the opportunity. I won the award because of my hard work and perseverance through difficult times. I am also an ambassador for my school and my city, as I participate in lots of youth voice groups. People generally admire my attitude, as I am very determined and positive. I feel as though it is a big achievement for someone with a disability like mine to be able to overcome challenges and do the things you might not think I can. I like to think of myself as differently abled, rather than disabled, as it sounds more positive. I am very proud of my achievements and to be part of the award again tonight. In the future, I plan to continue to advocate for young people and also to pursue my dreams of becoming a football coach. Always remember to never let things hold you back in life. If I can do it, you can do it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the night.
As you heard, Sam was last year's winner. So who's going to be this year's winner?
Now I had my voice, there was no stopping me. I was getting heard locally and regionally, but I wanted to be able to advocate on a national level. FLAIR is the SEND advisory group for the Department for Education, who meet in London 6 times a year. I applied to join in September 2022 and I was successful. I have faced so many challenges in my education, especially in getting the right support. Being part of a group like FLAIR means I can be part of making positive changes and be involved in decisions. In 2023, I trained to be a young commissioner. We are a group of young people who evaluate our local services and provide feedback reports. Currently, we are evaluating a project called Breathing Space, which provides support for young people with social, emotional and mental health needs. We are making a video of our findings, which is then fed back to commissioners and service delivery leaders, as well as shared publicly. I have had many exciting opportunities since I joined FLAIR. I volunteered to run workshops with other FLAIR members at the Youth Voice Matters conference in Manchester in 2023 and again in Birmingham in 2024. The conference is attended by hundreds of young people with SEND from all over the country, so it was a real honour to be able to help them get their voices heard too. I developed the workshop with my group around getting the right support in school. I was the only one using AAC. The session went really well and I was so proud of myself. There was an illustrator who drew this poster about our session. At the conference, I was asked to be a reporter. I came up with some questions and stored them in my phone so I could ask the right one at the right time. Most people understood me really well. The Council for Disabled Children made a short video about the day, which shows how I was able to interview other young people effectively.
We're here today to find out young people's views at the Youth Voice Matters conference. What are you looking forward to from the conference today?
I'm looking forward to hearing all the young people have their voice heard and speak about what is important to them so that they can share their views on different things.
Why do you think events like these are needed?
To share information and to also help people learn about different disabilities.
I think it's really important for young people to have their say and to be able to feedback on how services and support is working, but also it gives young people a chance to meet other like-minded people and be able to support each other.
What have you enjoyed the most about the day so far?
I really enjoyed meeting everyone and doing the workshops.
I learned a lot more about people's general views about disabilities and how things can be improved.
Why do you think Youth Voice matters?
Because it's important for people to see us and our additional needs.
It means that we're better services generally, and healthier young people is for the general betterment of society. We have better services, we've got better education systems, and I think it's always in the society's best interest to have happy and healthy young people, to make sure that we're the people of the future who go on to solve all of these world problems, and Youth Voice matters in that way because we're the future and it's worth talking about.
What do you hope this conference will achieve?
I hope that it gives Youth Voice a further agenda and push in policy, and I hope that young people get a chance to speak for themselves and feel that they can make a difference.
We hope you have enjoyed listening to the views of young people and hopefully learned something new.
After the conference, I was asked to join the National Children's Bureau all-staff meeting to tell them about it. There were 90 people on the Zoom call, so I really was hoping my technology didn't let me down. It all went really well and I spoke for 5 minutes and got some great feedback. Through my work with Flair, I have taken part in ministerial roundtables where I get to present to government ministers about SEND-related issues. Here I am speaking in 2023 to education and social care ministers about education transitions. I also spoke to David Johnston last year about getting good support. Here is a clip.
Also, why is it okay to do an assessment of my needs? Tell me I am entitled to support, then do nothing when the support can't be found. I think the last point annoys me the most. As usual, it's my family that had to fix the problem. Everything is a fight. I need my personal budgets from education and social care to work together in the future, so that my BA support can be holistic and joined up, not lots of separate people from separate services. If I ever need looking after, then I know there will be people that can do it, both in and out of school.
Yep. No, I can imagine you get very angry at that, and it's a lot on your mum and dad, and you do need somebody else, and I'm hoping you'll find somebody. I'm hoping you'll find someone very good, and they'll be able to do your football coaching training. I'm a big football fan myself. I'm a Liverpool fan. You may not like that. I'm actually a season ticket holder. We're doing pretty well this year. Maybe we'll have you as a coach at some point if you can do your football coaching. I think you're right. It's one of the things that both government, so national, but also local areas, local authorities are is being able to do very sort of individual support for people. So they have a lot of people they're trying to help at one time. So they try and work out what it is that works for everybody. And if you have something that is a bit different about you, about your situation, your family situation, whatever you might need help with, often government and local authorities are not as good at doing that, and that's why actually charities like you're working with are so important, because they can often be much better at giving that kind of support.
A couple of months ago, I spoke to Minister Catherine McKinnell about getting SEND support right in mainstream education. Having been educated in a mainstream setting my whole life, I had an awful lot to say about how this can be made better for young people with disabilities. I am hoping to get another opportunity to speak to her to follow this up. One of my biggest achievements as a speaker was to be invited to co-chair the National Youth Voice Matters Conference in 2024. I had to follow a script for the whole day and time all of my speaking carefully, which was a huge challenge for me. I was also asked to do a speech for the young people attending. I was very proud to be part of this event, and it went without a hitch.
Many young people with disabilities, for all sorts of reasons, don't have any opportunities to speak out for themselves. All of you here today are doing that for yourself and on behalf of those that can't. That is why we need to shout as loud as we can, because we are representing so many young people. There are so many different disabilities and additional needs to think about. It is not surprising that our needs can be difficult to understand or difficult to meet. However, just because it is hard does not mean that it is not our right. I have the right to be able to live my life without having to fight for things that able-bodied people take for granted. I have the right to choose my further education and career. I have the right to travel, to socialise, to have fun, to try new things, to have dreams. We all do. However, most of you in this room will have experience of feeling as though your disability makes life so much harder. Many of us are fighting for support, fighting for services, and fighting for our rights, which feels like a massive struggle. However, you are taking positive action to make things better. Don't ever give up. Imagine a world that was designed for people with disabilities of all kinds. Everywhere would be accessible. Every young person would feel accepted. I believe this can exist in the future if we all take action now.
My best speech yet was last summer at the North East Youth Symposium. This event was run by the NCS. There were lots of decision makers in the room, including many from the combined local authority. I spoke for 6 minutes about my views on getting things right for young people with disabilities in education and their lives in general. Here is a clip.
If I could change one thing though, it would be to ensure everyone in the country understands the word equity. Many people believe that giving everyone the same offer is fair. It sounds fair, doesn't it? But my outcomes would be very different from yours if that offer was, for example, a glass of water. Look at it this way. We both need water and we both have been offered water. But you can pick yours up and drink it and I can't. We have the same offer, but very different outcomes. I am still thirsty. I need someone to hold the glass. I need a straw to drink from. We can then both drink the water. That is equity. We have a different offer but the same outcomes. Now it is fair. Speaking to the decision makers in the room. We have a new government, and that almost certainly means lots of changes. However, please don't try to reinvent the wheel. Please consider that sometimes we just need to get the cogs turning. We might not always need new cogs. I also ask you to consider the most vulnerable young people in society first. Those with poor physical or mental health, those living in poverty, those with additional needs and disabilities. Not because these people are the most important, we are all equal. What I mean is that if you get things right for those with the greatest needs, then you get it right for everyone. To the young people in the room, When you are asking decision makers for change, consider whether, if existing policies and practices were delivered well, would this be enough? In the future, I hope to continue to influence and motivate both young people and decision makers. I am developing my own company called Dream Big, Live Bigger, where I hope to grow my audience to make more of an impact. Please scan the QR code behind me if you would like to find out more or book me to speak at an event. To wrap up the young people's presentations, we are going to play the final piece from the students of Durham Johnson.
When I started college in September 2024, I had just received my new communication aid, which is the one I use now. I was so excited because it has a regional accent, which is something I've always wanted. One of the first things I did was apply to be Disabilities Officer for the college. I was elected and have since made some improvements for disabled students at the college. For example, I have introduced a disabled bay misuse reporting system, improved access to work experience, and also highlighted issues regarding disabled learners accessing trips and visits. I have gained quite a lot of respect over the years for my participation work and commitment to youth voice and advocacy. I have done quite a few interview panels now, most recently for Sunderland social care workers. I was honoured to be asked to be on the panel for the new CEO of Sunderland Children's Services. This is a very important role, one which directly affects me and people like me. It was great to have the opportunity to be part of the process. For my college course, I had to record a video of me coaching, which was assessed. I used an amazing adapter gym in Gateshead called Gym Possible. I got to know the owner, who said he would be my guinea pig. Here is a clip of my college assignment, which I passed with flying colours. You will see that I used a mixture of my speaking voice and my tech voice. You will notice my accent has changed too. Drew is the owner of Gym Possible in Gateshead. He was a triathlete, but he injured his spine whilst competing. This resulted in him being paralysed from the waist down. Drew is very keen on endurance exercises, such as using the skute. The aim of today's session is to complete an upper body workout for a tetraplegic wheelchair user. The exercises we will be doing today are the lateral pull down, single on cable rows, alternating on bicep curls and lateral raises. The first exercise is called the lateral pull down. The primary muscles worked in the lateral pull down are the latissimus dorsi, or the lats. Secondary muscles worked are the biceps, traps, rhomboids, rear deltoids, and the core. The equipment required for the lateral pull down is the equal as a 6,000 wheelchair accessible multi-gym with bar attachment. Active Hands general purpose gripping aids can be used if needed. I will now demonstrate the exercise, then explain it in detail.
And breathe in and out the roof. So they hold in behind wheel.
Awesome. Now I will explain the exercise and give you some coaching points. Firstly, position your wheelchair in a comfortable position in the centre of the machine below and slightly behind the position of the bar. Hold the bar with a wide or close grip using active hands if needed. Palms facing forward or toward you, making sure your hands are evenly spaced. Now my business is growing and I have years of youth voice experience behind me. I get asked to do some big events. The most recent was a training workshop for the ICB. I was asked to speak on co-production, transitions, mainstream education and youth voice to train health, social care and educational practitioners, as well as those from the voluntary sector. I presented for an hour on these issues, all using my talker. I did a Q&A at the end with my speaking voice, which I was very proud of. Please use the code on the leaflets in front of you or on screen to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you can view the full video as well as all many others. I am spreading the word nationally through journal article writing for the British Academy of Childhood Disability. The BAC did publish a quarterly newsletter, which I have been published in twice now. Here is a link to the article, which talks more about my work in detail. I feel as though I can now communicate just as well, if not better than other young people. I have lots more confidence and I have been able to achieve so much because I can express myself so much better and be better understood. I am determined to keep going and continue to make a difference to my own life and the lives of others with disabilities. I have big plans for the future. I want to be a football coach, which has always been my dream. I also want to live a big and full life, which means overcoming barriers and challenges every day. Through my business, Dream Big Live Bigger, I am continuing to advocate both locally and nationally. In the future, I am looking forward to seeing how technology develops, and in particular, how artificial intelligence can help me communicate better. For example, when I am a football coach, I am hoping AI can predict what I want to say and speak for me, without me having to take my eye off the pitch. I'm confident this type of technology will exist before long. I also would like my voice to be my own actual voice. This is already available but still in early days. It would be great to hear my own voice loud and clear. I have learned so much on my communication journey. Here are just a few tips I would like to offer you, so you can communicate better with people like me. The best advice I can give you is, please be patient. Try to imagine yourself in my position. Please don't assume I have nothing to say. Sometimes I say nothing because I am tired, or it is just too much effort. That doesn't mean I have nothing to say or that I am passive. Please don't speak for me or finish my sentences. If in doubt, just ask someone how they communicate. I would much rather this than if people make assumptions. Now I have my voice and my own business as a platform. I am using my voice in ways I never dreamed possible. A few weeks ago, I attended my local MP's constituents meeting. My local MP is also the Secretary of State for Education, Bridget Phillipson. After hearing my comments, I have a private meeting with her at my house this week to discuss the points I raised. I will be using a mixture of my tech voice and speaking voice during the meeting so I can respond to her questions spontaneously. I am very pleased to get this opportunity to speak to someone as influential as this, and hope she is inspired to act after listening to some of my stories. I also hope it raised her expectations of what young people with communication difficulties can do. It is often the articulate speakers who get heard the most. However, what about those who struggle to communicate? I am proud to have overcome this for myself and to represent the many others who cannot speak up for themselves. I would like to ask you what you are doing to hold the local authority to account for the young people with SEND in our local area and citywide, and what progress has been made since 2023 through the local improvement plan.
Sam, thanks very much for your questions and sharing your experiences. Obviously I'm a constituency MP, but I'm also responsible for education as Education Secretary, so the areas that you talk about in terms of SEND, I spend a lot of time working on, because I know, as you just described there, that the system really isn't working and for children with SEND, and I'm determined to improve it and to make it better so that we try and avoid what you described, which is particularly some of those important transition moments, that young people get the support that they need as part of that, and that we put in place support as quickly as possible. Where it comes to the local authority, I do meet regularly with the local authority to talk about some of this, including Together for Children and Simon Marshall. What I suggest, given that your experience in this and your kind of keen interest and expertise, I'll ask my office to get in touch with you to see if we can have a separate meeting to discuss some of your concerns and see what more we can do to to make sure that we're supporting children with SEND, but also what more the local authority, Sunderland, need to do to make that happen. So we'll get in touch with you and get a meeting set up, and thanks for everything you're doing to raise awareness on these really important issues and to be a voice for other young people as well. It's really impressive, so thanks a lot, Sam.
Please use the Q&A to ask me questions. Thanks for listening and good luck with your studies.
So we can just scan the menu code, can't we, and then type in our questions for you, and then you just got to answer them as they come up. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can just put
Chris has just been in the rooms of Sunderland, so
how's it going? Come on.
that would be a good conversation, wouldn't it?
I'm just trying to bring the screen clear myself.